So let's dive right in. We are here on this journey, but who are my audience? Let's first identify the audience, right? The purpose of this is seminar is to recruit Christian Templars and to recruit models to our agencies, and also to recruit wealthy men as sponsors, investors, angel investors, supermodels, and Christian Templars, right? So we have to have axioms to stand on and fight with those axioms, right? So all the jobs is going to be infiltrated by AI, which means this is a warfare of survival of the fittest. So America, China, Russia, um, yeah, we're going to be in this AI war. Whoever has the most advanced AI, whoever's going to rule the world, right? The power now is on the individual like yourself, on the influencer. So now you have all the brains and geniuses of all the Einsteins, all, you know, so we can now create a society, a more fit society, a more rational society. No longer can you get away with the gatekeepers who are in control of the media. And, Gen Alpha, Gen Z, they're more smarter on ethics and how to run things more so than in the past where propaganda worked and pride works, right? So once we establish that, 99% of the jobs are going to be gone, and AI is going to take over all sectors of society, which means religion is on the rise. They need a stable faith in order to rise up. So with this unstable faith that we have, we need to create a more stable faith that allowing the spread of the basis of religion, taking away all the science, all the propaganda, all the political agendas, all that infrastructures that kind of make religion survive and oppression survive. We got to take that all away, because people will sense bullshit. People will call out lies, and we're in this endless cycle of one group overtaking the other, then the other group survives, and then now it's vengeance mode, and that's how endless wars happen. So I'll get to your comments in a bit when I take a break, and Q&A is going to happen towards the end. Let me deliver first the seminar. So now, from my standpoint, there's axioms that I can't get away from, and the Latin Mass, the extraordinary form of the Mass, has been taken away from me. And what are the fruits of that? You take away the Latin Mass, the magic, the mystery, the divinity of it, and then you start doing tarot, crystals, witchcraft, sorcery. You start going for girls, like these things. The church protects you from, it's like blinders from a horse from doing evil deeds, and you take that away from someone, it becomes unstable, right? So I adopted a different faith. Physically, we have Roman Catholicism, but like the faith is postulates and axioms, testing the material. The only solid truth that works is the truth that works for you, right? Everything else is just improving upon and building upon the truth. Take away the truth that works for you, take away the truth that does not work for you, right? And in the game of pickup, dating coach advice, only use game that works and solidifies on your DNA, that works for you, and take away all the advice that others give that doesn't work for you, right? So that being said, it's very easy if you're very attractive, very wealthy, to get girls, right? You're tall, 6 feet, six pack, blonde hair, blue eyes. It's so easy to get girls that way. They're gonna simp for you. You have the two Rolls Royces. You're gonna crack. You're gonna, yeah. It's, but what if you are short, fat, Asian? Yeah. So the truth that we have is, how do you? I just saw this comment. It's like struggling Nazi to stand out since everyone's a Nazi, and you know now we have this movement. Why do we, why do we, what's Nazism, and why does it work? You're gonna come in life that you're gonna realize once you discover the truth. Do your own research. Read the Mein Kampf of Adolf Hitler. Read all his speeches. Like, he did not suddenly just kill everyone. Like, there are reasons that pushed him to that, right? Do your research and make your own conclusions, right? People are gonna smear campaign. What countries, just research what countries make the most money from wars, what countries are influenced by the media. There's all propaganda, right? And the fields of expertise we need to master right now is chips, microchips, right? Taiwan is the biggest holder of microchips, and they control the world. Your car can't run, computers, tech, all that won't work, right? So it is not American made, and we are going to lose the war in microcomputing. Every field that we, establish is just not in America. So we need you guys. We need the bold thinkers. We need the geniuses to unite and have a suppression-free environment. Collaboration, progress. That is the Roman way. Progress forward. When you do the Hitler salute, the Roman salute, this is progress of society. It's never meant to be nationalism or backward thinking or such, And the warfare, it's going to be the tinier you make it. It's going to be not definitely on, the greatest way to invade a nation is give them TikTok, create posts to reduce Taiwan's national pride. So what happens is, if you invade Taiwan, we take away Taiwan, we go to that, everyone is going to protect Taiwan, meaning they believe that they were improperly invaded, and they are not going to work for the American government. They might do it to survive, but innovation and progress is gone. They are surrounded by water, and if you're surrounded by water, right? Yeah, your greatest trade is selling microchips to the world and being so rich. Geniuses, they focus on small and stuff, right? So how do you allow a society, so decentralization is, what the fields you need to master now is decentralization with a bigger, but whenever you cater. So I was going to this mega church, and whenever you cater to the masses, it's not fun. It's just not enjoyable, because, I'm different. I like different things. I have different interests, right? So whenever you cater to the masses, it's just not good. So the basis of this thoughts that I have is, you have to really focus on decentralization. We're creating mini groups of Bible study. Find your axioms of truth. What can you live without, and what truths do you have that you can't get away from? So I just can't get away from the Roman Catholic Church. I just can't get away from the belief in Scientology, in suppression, PTS people, and people who do not want your survival. The tongue is mightier than the sword. So anyone who does not promote you is against you, and there are subtle signs, like CIA level of prediction of human behavior. So now that we have technology on our side, an individual, my job is to train the singular Messiah that can run 500 organizations through the sheer power of his will and his mind, not coerced, has self-mastery, not coerced by propaganda, but a self-determined Messiah. And it's not, the Bible, Jesus, like I said, take away political, like, there are disarming Bibles. You have Jewish people infiltrating the Christian sectors as a Jew or a Christian pastor, and disarming Christianity. disarming America's pride, that's dangerous, right? So pride is everything. Your nationalism, your pride, you're proud of your country, you're proud of your family, that in the event that the country gets invaded, like Taiwan, they're trying to steal the intel. Yeah, they might steal the technology. You might have a gun pointed in your head. We'll kill your family unless you make these microchips. But in that case, your self-determinism, you're just going to do your job, clock in, clock out, and your pride is gone, right? Meaning you're going to stop innovating chips, and eventually another country like the US can overtake Taiwan. But Taiwan's pride is, we are not part of China. China's trying to invade Taiwan. And that becomes like, no one can invade Taiwan. It's such a small country. Look at Vietnam. The US cannot invade Vietnam, right? So invasion has never worked. So we are now in a battle of progress. It's unlikely. I mean, revolution after revolution will happen, and TikTok is the greatest weapon ever created. It is the infiltrator. You disarm the nation's pride through TikTok and propaganda threads, and it's shared, and suddenly you're working for Taiwan, you're working for the US government, whatever country, now the soldiers are not proud to defend injustice, right? So, like, for example, the US, I am 100% pro-US, but you talk to Americans, they're like, oh, I don't like how Trump did this, bombing this, a lot of people betray. But, when you are paid for something, you are continuing the task. So a self-determined society is a more powerful society than being robots. And revolutions win because our belief and our cause is believable, and we wanted more than the opposing party. So having that pride, that self-determinism, is what we need to, be proud of, right? Now, when it comes to financial domination and OnlyFans, that is not the end goal. It's just a way to raise funds as we build Christianity, a unity of the Roman Catholic faith, right? So, but not the regular Catholic faith that's practiced now. And I'm talking about the extraordinary form, the Latin Mass, to the traditional Tridentine Mass. But even then, there's two segments, the progressives and the conservatives. So, but we need a combination of both. That's why I am identifying a dark Catholic, not like a black New World Order Catholic, but a dark Catholic is, it's the fear we have is separating from the Pope. Yes, that is sedevacantist, that is, we lose the power of the magisterium. But a dark Catholic acknowledges the supremacy of the EF, extraordinary form, and acknowledges a world without war, a civilization without insanity, where the righteous and just can rise to greater heights, where you can build your entrepreneurship, where you can build your cause without suppression and without propaganda. And, that's not, the Catholic Church. For the sake of scandals, you're killing off all the Mozarts, all the geniuses. You're killing off all the people who could move civilization forward. But now the gatekeeper is no longer in control. Whether or not life or death, heaven or hell, atheists, good luck preaching that to the Jews, the atheists, or the people already in sin. The Catholic Church is a hospital for the sick. So it has to be available, the sacraments, the Eucharist, confession, free therapy, free food, free community, and, if it's not available, you're just catering to a small segment of society, and there's no outreach towards strippers, no outreach towards adult workers, and they're the ones that make money, right? So our church, our new church, this revolution, the Order of Mary of Egypt, she was a prostitute at 12 years old, ran away, and until she was 29, she was seducing sailors and She repented. 47 years she was in the deserts of Egypt. She submitted to Our Lady. And we're creating this world without prostitution, a world without pornography, a world without crime, a world, believing in the cause of the nation and a cause of the individual. Because if you're fighting for a nation, you have to believe in the cause. But now the nation we're fighting for is your individual self, your survival of self. And every man, every woman has the right to have someone who loves them unconditionally, someone to have kids with, and someone to kind of start a business with, right? These are the rights, the inherent rights that God has given and bestowed man. And you should not fear your life, fear losing your job, fear losing your family in the basis of belief, right? And so having a more evolution society, competition, and democratizing it, why does 3,000 people have to attend one church? Split it into mini groups, a more personalized groups, 12 people, and one priest to 12, members of the church, right? But, so let's say, there's a bunch of 18-year-olds, then you have a 22-year-old priest or whatnot, right? He understands his flock better with the 12. You're not just a number, right? You're not just a donation. One person can't truly satisfy hundreds of people in pews, right? So Catholic Church is, what you need to get away from is this New World Order agenda, a centralized system of any point, right? So there's even a movement, we decentralize AI, we decentralize currency, we, decentralize even the church, right? And this approval has to be done in that way, but we're all unified under the banner. It's like hiding behind a Christian banner. The fallacy is faith alone. They have the Romans, if you believe with confess in your heart that Jesus is Lord. No, that's not the formula for salvation, unless you're baptized Roman Catholic, die in a state of grace through confession. A transubstantiation exchange has to happen for your salvation, Because then, if you're believing what the Protestants, Christians say is true, that means, what's the point of going to church, to being Catholic? What's the point? Why are we praying to the Blessed Virgin Mary, the Rosary, every day? I have this big-ass rosary that I keep losing. This is my 10th rosary that I lost on this size, and I've lost smaller. So it's like, oh, cool. I live in this fantasy world. I'm crazy, and I'm Catholic, right? So I've never been invalidated so much than being a Catholic in Los Angeles, right? But even then, I go to the church, old people, to satisfy the old instead of kind of like, who's going to push society forward, right? So this new movement we're doing is we're training the next generation of prophets, right? Every street corner in Los Angeles, in Hollywood, right? It's going to have deliverance teams of healing and rejuvenation and small packs. We're teaching people to run their own Bible studies, right? Which is, and then eventually we're going to have so much funding that we're going to have so many disciples, so many priests hearing confessions, because ultimately we want all 8 billion people in the world, right? The resources, we have so much resources in LA, the Lamborghinis, the mansions, and all that can be used to train priests, right? So if you confess that Lord, is truly the Holy Ghost, is powerful, we can convert. And it starts off with OnlyFans. It starts off with financial domination, because these people are already paying. There's a market for that. But Catholics make the best managers. Girls trust them, training disciples, and having, this faith that you cannot have sex until you're married. You legalize sex before marriage. You legalize alcohol. You legalize drugs. Because these are medians that Catholics are attacked on. So this business will work if it's a moral society, instead of evil people suspecting it's human trafficking or the like, which is false data. That's not true, right? imbued dark Catholicism, imbued with Scientology's levels. You should not be teaching charity to kids because you grow up in the South, you help your parents, you live in a farm, then you go to LA, you'll be taken advantage for your talent and exploited. So I have pastors taking advantage, psychologically abusing me, making me feel like I'm not good enough for the world. So all I have time for is to serve the church and donate my creativity. So I was abused in that sense, right? The church has become a brainwashing tool. And in their mind, they're like, oh, if Anthony goes to Hollywood, he'll be corrupted. And I'm not corrupted. I'm still practicing the faith, right? But now I'm seeing how much the church took advantage, right? So capitalism has to be taught that time and energy has value. Work, the more money you're going to get. You're not going to cheat, steal, and deprogram people. And I have people targeting Chinese, targeting me. Like, we are being led by dumb pastors, dumb religious people who have no intellect to push society forward. And they use Satan. I remember I was running this group, and they're like, oh, your pride is holding you back. But I'm the one who innovated Latin Rosary online. And how better prepared we would be during COVID, when we have a global shutdown. Online communities gathering together online. And now it's a widespread. People are now praying on Catholics, So in a sense, I paved the path for Catholics, but then I was canceled for shooting a bikini. And now it's like my soul rests on being, poor or such. And yeah. But now it's my utter duty and obligation, it's my ethical duty to not hide my talents. Instead, we can use our faith and resources to have, like right now, it's the Jews, the Muslims, the Persians, the Israelis are all over Hollywood, and they don't respect the Christian woman, the Christian blonde, so they persecute them. They can have sex with a blonde, but not with a Arab. They can have sex with a blonde, but not an Israeli. They respect their own kind more so, and America, it's diluted, it's reduced down and objectified in that aspect, right? So that's not Christian at all. You can't be following Christian law and then your Christian law doesn't apply to your neighbor. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Love others as you love God, right? And love God above all. These values, these inherent Christian values, right? We just don't have enough resources, right? So, like I said, the church we're going to build, the pastor, it's going to celebrate the Tridentine Latin Mass in the extraordinary form. It's going to have unlimited confession, a lot of confessions, a lot of masses, and the fields we're attacking is illegalized field of psychology and psychiatry, holistic meditation. This church, it's going to be like that of the Aphrodite's sacred temple of the Greeks, of Mary of Egypt. You are now having face-to-face, you donate to the church, right? Face-to-face, women of, they're going to be trained to be good companions, right? And people are going to get paid for their Catholicism, how less judgy, how happy, how much they're having fun. So the basic unit we're training is $5 million training that we have for you investors. And again, investing starts at $3,000 per month. Our second package is $8,000 a month. Our third package, it's on a discount at $20,000 per month, right? Typically, we need $100,000 per month. And this $5 million training, it's called the Housewife Experience. And a woman's greatest job and dream should be a housewife. But a housewife in a powerful way. She is goddess. She is control of the finances. The CEO is able to train any man to have six-pack abs, to be a bodybuilding champion. She is a career and lifestyle coach for social engineering, right? She's also a wealth coach, right? Teaching you how to make more money. No sex unless you bring in so much money. So this housewife experience, she's going to train the man and they're going to court. No sex, no sexuality, right? And in the end, it's like the man can declare her as the housewife, 50% split. We need to really promote a free market and capitalism in America. So the Novus Ordo, the Roman Catholic Church, Christianity Church, it's all forms of communism by the Russian and Chinese government to disarm Americans. Don't listen to your survival skills, survival of yourself, and it's a way to kind of invade. They're invading us from our religions, our TikToks, but a society, the Templars, mighty of old, right? You will die. You cannot be a Christian unless you're ready to die and be crucified. Are any Christians ready for this crucifixion? No, they're not. Because they succumb. They're weak. They're not alpha. They've been betafied, right? Unless you proclaim that outside the Roman Catholic Church, there is no salvation. Unless you celebrate the Latin Mass in an extraordinary form, in its ancient Roman language, you will be damned, right? These are the remnants, right? And the old remnants of old in their racism, they will not let a Chinese Filipino guy like me lead this cause, right? But no worries, we have the OnlyFans girls as strippers making 10 times more money, 1,000,000,000 times more money. It's time to revolutionize the church, right? It's time to stand up, because AI is going to take over everything. No longer do you have to succumb to inferior genetics, right? The time is over for persecution. Instead, we are mighty. We are mighty Christian Templars, right? And this revolution, it's really going to proclaim that. A yes, a no. There's no more secret societies sneaking in, infiltrating, disrupting, destabilizing. The honest truth is a world simplified, a world of progress, right? And fun, we're teaching, we're selling courses in Christianity. You have to sell it because people are only gonna listen if they pay for it. The same thing with training, right? I offered my training for $3,000 a month, and people listen because they're paying $3,000 a month for it. But then if I'm training them for free, they skip the gym, they don't value it. Whatever you pay for, you're gonna pay more attention to. So the church needs to be restructured, more training, more donation, and donations should not be accepted by the church, because the church is influenced with money to cater to a certain group, and the moment the church stops speaking the truth of that group, the donations also stop, right? So the coercion. Do you think any of these priests, these brothers, these religious are able to survive on the world without the dependency? They're not able to hunt for themselves. They're not domesticated. They have to be wild beasts to survive in the world. So having this, the whole system is really, you leave the church, you cannot function in civilization. So you're more reinforced to go back in the bubble, but the bubble is inferior. One mindset, one individual can really change the world through a belief, right? Now, the unity now has to be in AI, and more Catholics need to be in AI. More Catholics need to be geniuses, super geniuses. You cannot neglect the intellect that God, the wisdom of God. God is not dumb. God is smarter than the devil. That the devil, without realizing it, always works for God. So you want to be in the devil's side, it's weak, or you want to be in God's side, that's superior, right? You want to go with always the highest love and the highest power. You never want to be in the losing side, right? But we're made to believe that you must be unethical and evil to survive in society. You must cheat, steal, you must lie, bear false witness. But no, having the wisdom of truth where your focus and such, the freedom to rebuild, the freedom to learn, and not, damage your skin is very important, right? So in the training that we have, the first unit we have is infiltrator units, spies, right? Gather information, the eyes and ears, expanding the agency. So 20 of that needs to be done. We have our CEO, our vampire bride, one bride, and then we are building the supreme goddess and the queen. So the queen comes in, so that the goddess becomes the supreme goddess, and then the queen becomes the goddess, and then we find a queen, and then we find a princess, right? So having that trio, it's really we're relying. The women is the future. Eliminating patriarchy, eliminating imagination, and feminism works to a degree, but ego also works, right? The woman loses reality if she's unproductive, so she's trying to survive, so she will make up lies, and we have a very inefficient and disorganized organization based on feeling instead of production. So we have to balance production and emotions, rest and explosion, similar to the wrestling style, right? And yeah, so we can only, like I said, the fields of attacks were making it illegal to have sex before marriage, making it illegal to do drugs, making it illegal to drink alcohol, sex before marriage, like all that stuff, making it illegal to be envious. You cannot suppress another, making it illegal to illegally testify against someone. These values have to protect the entrepreneur instead of smear campaigns winning, and the silent, third party instigating drama is the one that's harmless, while the two honest, hardworking people are working hard, building their businesses, and of course their business or their wife means a lot to them. For a man to steal that's very unethical, right? And society allows survival of these unethical genes, that they can just steal their labor, they practice their tongue. So yeah, they go cold for months, weeks, years, and then they go on the attack, steal a lot of money, never earned it, and live in paradise on earth, right? So paradise on earth should, L. Ron Hubbard talks about, the problems of work. If your goal in life is to live rent-free and not work hard and take advantage of others, it's like, that's not someone I want in my team. That's not someone I want living at all. Production is everything. Your purpose in America is production. It is to make money and to produce, right? And rewards have to be given more to effort and competition, and survival of greater genetics happen by your DNA, how much it endures, how much sacrifice. I could be partying this weekend, but instead I am working, instead I am producing, right? That is the greatest reward, the greatest honor, right? And but you're not going to be toxic, you're not going to force people. They have to be self-determined. If I want Pepsi versus Coca-Cola, I should have that choice. So yeah, so self-determinism, if there's one big domino that I can kind of convince you, something to simplify this whole thing, right? A yes should be a yes. You should trust a man's word, and a no, it's a no. There shouldn't be any envious people in the world, right? And survival of the fittest, the greatest talent has to be rewarded, and the greatest, whoever looks the best. And eliminate the field of psychology, like I said. Eliminate medication. Have a more holistic, natural healing. Your brains will produce its natural resources and chemicals to be the pharmacy. Or having a Roman Catholic nation and world where the Latin Mass is celebrated, and the witnessing the crucifixion more so as a bystander, and being able to eat from the flesh and drink from the blood of Christ after his crucifixion, and without having, so imagine a nightclub celebration as the Mass. You're able to go to confession in a different room. You're able to receive the Eucharist. Many different pastors exist as a form of community. It is a free form, like a sandbox experience, rather than, oh shoot, I'm going to dress up, go around the people I hate. There's people who, are stealing my time and energy, brainwashing kids and adults to feel guilty for their sins so that they can volunteer for the church, when they need to be leaders of society in public, more so than this bubble that's extinguishing. Any one man now has the power of the world through AI. So the most advanced AI needs to be Roman Catholic ran, not Jewish ran, not Islam ran, not atheist ran. The morals and ethics of a Roman Catholic has to go supreme. Forgiveness, love, kindness, right? And so dominate all sectors of society. And love is not force. But on your final perseverance, your friends or your church, it's not going to be there to help you on your last hour of your death. It's going to be you versus the devil, and he's going to go 100 times on the attack to get you to sin. So you need to develop your faith in terms of kind of like, you need to prepare yourself for crucifixion. That is the Christian way. If you have not offended people because of your faith, then there's something wrong with you, right? Unless you eat the flesh from the Son of Man and outside the Roman Catholic Church, you will be damned. The Latin Mass needs to be restored, and not with a hating white people who are racist, right? But the values of chastity, of love, no sex before marriage, right? Cleanliness, order, that's the Roman values, right? And that does not, reserve it to the whites. It does not reserve it to any particular people or group. And this is why the church needs to be ran, different unions, the 12 different tribes, right? But all Roman Catholic, right? It's globalization, and it's not a new world order, but it said we need to democratize the church, right? Many groups in union with the Legion of Rome for, joyfulness, compassion, empathy. We need time. We need people who have more time, right? So, I'm looking for a canceled priest who's wanting to celebrate the Latin Mass. If you've ever been taken out of your ministry, hit me up. I'm looking for more girls to kind of join our agency. Rich, wealthy investors as well. These are the 3 values. You're supporting a world without war or crime, where the honest and talented can rise to greater heights. A world without sex before marriage, a world without pornography, a world without drugs, a world without alcohol, and a world where Jesus Christ is King. And there's forgiveness, there's confession everywhere, there's love, you get to learn. In a capitalist world where competition, you have an idea, you have a business plan, you're not being canceled because of who you are as an individual. Instead, you're delivering great services and great products. There's no discrimination, right? So these are the values we have. I hope you guys enjoy this seminar. And send me a DM. And if you like the messaging. And stay tuned.